Hey everyone, welcome to another night of Geeking Out. It's been a couple of weeks and we've missed y'all and lots of things have been going on. So, oh no, where did Timon go? Okay, well, anyways, sorry y'all. Hey, oh, there he is. Cool. There you are.
I was having technical difficulties.
Oh no. Okay, so my name is Ricky Z. I will be your host for tonight and we'll be talking about Wakanda forever. Yes. But before we do that, we want to take a brief moment to say a couple of words about an icon for us 90s babies, uh, geeks all around, Jason David Franks of Power Rangers. He probably had I think he most definitely had the longest run as a ranger in any type of capacity in the entire Power Ranger universe. Um, we are deeply saddened by his loss, and um, we know that if you can look at the bottom, you'll see that there is the suicide hotline. So if you know someone or you yourself are um, dealing with that and those issues, please call 988, the suicide hotline. We're just going to take a couple seconds, moment of silence for him. All right. Okay. Well, rest in peace, Jason David Frank. So I'm Ricky Z. You can find me on, and this is I finally fixed it for myself. You can find me on all socials at Ricky Z underscore social. I'm trying to be better with myself. I'm trying to get my things in order. And something that I'm doing for Thanksgiving is I'm going out of town. I'm gonna go see my mama and my aunts and uncles, taking my sister. Go see family. We're traveling by car. God bless us. Pray for us on this road.
Tell me about it. I just went through it. I just came back from Baton Rouge
Ooh.
wedding, and it was a car ride, and wonderful times with the family.
If you're feeling froggy, to send me some Cash App money for some gas, y'all, out in this world, please feel free. No, anyways, all right. So, Tamar, introduce yourself and tell us what you're doing for the holiday season.
Hi everyone, I'm Tamon Kane, and you can find me at Tamon Kane anywhere. So that's Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, and yes, I will totally confirm if you send me a friend request. You can check out my book page at www.jointhefraternity.com. That's where you find out about my story about magic, mayhem, mystery, murder, and all those wonderful things. And I don't know what I'm doing yet for Thanksgiving. I'm either going to a Friendsgiving or I'm going to spend some time in solidarity. I haven't decided yet.
That's okay. So, I think there was one year that I decided to stay home for Thanksgiving during college.
Hmm.
I didn't feel like doing the travel. I didn't feel like choosing which family I wanted to go see. I was like, I'm gonna stay home, or I'm gonna stay at school, and it was actually quite nice. Actually, I think I did it twice. It was nice, actually, to be
Yeah,
honest with you.
this was my second time.
Look,
Well,
Julian.
hello. Hi,
All right, all
everybody.
right, Julian, introduce yourself and then tell us what you're doing for the holiday season.
Okay, I am Bad Juju. You can find me down here at Twitch with double D's, double B's. um, I am a resident fantasy nerd, huge high fantasy nerd. That's I guess what I mostly bring to geeking out. And what are we doing for this holiday season? That's a good question. Well, I'm working for most of it actually.
Oh man.
Yeah, but it's not so bad. It's not too bad. It's nothing I'm not used to at this point. So I'll be on the grind for it. But I am going to dinner otherwise, I think, with family. And I think we're actually going to try and possibly see Wakanda again.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah. Being on, speaking of being on theme, because my dad, I don't think, I'm sure, has not seen it. He's actually been in Ecuador. Yeah, my grandfather passed like last year. So they are redoing his apartment, and then I don't know what they're doing with it after that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so he's down there helping out and overseeing and stuff, and that's about it for my Thanksgiving.
Okay, okay. All right. So we talked briefly about Jason David Franks who just passed away. So, but
I know, sad.
I know, and that's a big part of our childhood.
And also, like, he's just been so active, which is great for him.
Mm-hmm.
Love that for him, but it's
right.
like it feels out of the blue because he's just seems so healthy and like doing things all the
You
time.
never know.
Right, you never really know, and you never know how people are handling or dealing with things, or if they have things going on that that they would be struggling with. So, that's like I said. We'll just do this one more time. We'll put the suicide hotline number on the bottom of the screen. Call 988 to speak to someone. They're open 24/7. This is the National Suicide Hotline number 988. So a little quick thing that I want to talk about real quick is the return of the straight to DVD sequel, but with streaming. And so someone had brought this up on TikTok that I thought was really interesting. So if you hadn't seen already, the sequel to Enchanted with Amy Adams and Patrick Dempsey, Idina Menzel, Disenchanted just came out on Disney Plus this weekend.
It's out now.
It's out now.
Already out. Wow.
I liked it. It was super cute. It was
straight to DVD, indeed.
Yes. So that's what I'm like. So that was a weird way to think of it, but like it makes complete sense, especially when you consider like Hocus Pocus 2, 20 years later,
was
straight to streaming, basically straight to DVD. Yeah. And like with many like Disney like movies, and not necessarily talking about Disney Channel movies, not DCOM, because we can expect DCOM sequels to be on DCOM. But like Little Mermaid has like at least a sequel or two, and then a prequel.
Yes, two.
Yeah, she has a sequel and a prequel. Lion King has like 3.5 sequels, and then some, and like 2 series. Honestly, like these are the ones that went straight to DVD or straight to take VHS if you're old enough. Look, I loved all 3 of the Aladdin movies.
Yo, Aladdin always stays amazing.
Yes, The Return of Jafar and The Prince of Thieves. Yes, I enjoyed those. Those are good. Absolutely. So, but like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, we're getting the Disney's kind of bringing back their straight to DVD, but they're doing it via their Disney Plus.
I mean, I think it's pretty cool in its own way. Like the way that works now. Honestly, I didn't even think of like how straight to streaming isn't essentially straight to DVD now. You know what I mean? And it's just like, oh, as soon as you made that reference, I was like, oh, that actually makes perfect sense. Mm-hmm. If anything, I feel like they get maybe more clout though than the straight to DVD did. You know, what I mean? So. Whenever you. I don't know. Whenever you heard of something that went straight to DVD, it just always felt like, oh, you knew that was just going to be bad then, probably, right? Like that was like your first assumption usually. Mm-hmm. Here, it's straight to streaming doesn't really have that feel. It just feels like, oh, it's just something that we're only going to get on the streaming platform that isn't going to be on the big screen because these streaming services are making all kinds of productions, you know what I mean, at different levels and things. So I feel like it just feels more commonplace that a production would go straight to streaming versus when we would hear about something going straight to DVD, it was usually because it was going to be like, B, C grade less, you know what I mean? It would probably be like something not as good.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think that there are tons of videos that are straight to stream that are terrible. Just like there are tons that are straight to DVD or VHS that are terrible. But I do remember when sequels to my favorite movies were getting like 4 and 5 and, 4 or 5 sequels and they're going straight to DVD, you already know what to expect.
Right.
Like to Julia's point, you're like, okay, I know this is not, the main characters may not be in this one, or this may be,
right.
This may be set in the past or something weird, something like that. So you do have an expectation, but thanks to COVID, the view of direct to streaming has been altered as something that's it's about convenience. when you can say Halloween can come out the same day in the theater and a movie and still do well, I mean, and direct streaming and still do well, that's a very cool snapshot of the world we live in.
Yeah. This is thank you to this is just
Sure.
Jitra. So this is someone that has been watching watching on Scream King. So thank you for joining
Hey,
us. We
Yeah.
appreciate you for joining us.
thanks for tuning in.
So but like I think the exception to the rule honestly has been, if I can think of it, is Toy Story.
Yeah.
Toy Story has been the exception to the rule where it doesn't all like it has like little projects of Toy Story related things that go straight to DVD or go straight to streaming, but like the actual full motion pictures have all gone to theater. Now maybe it's the time frame. No, I think all of them have gone to theater regardless of streaming.
I just think that they're so well written. I think they're all really worthy of theater. They were also talking to me. I'm sorry for nothing, but every single one hit. Every single one hit. I don't think I've ever seen a Toy Story that I left the theater like not super emotional. They've just always done a really great job of storytelling and like hitting you at the end with it, and it's like, oh.
Well, I stopped watching them for a while, but the most recent, I went back and watched the most recent Toy Story. And to your point, Julian, there's always a point in those movies where I'm like, oh God.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh God. Oh, it's happening.
Like, there's no holding back. Like
Yeah. And so they do have a level of quality. And I think that just speaks to that franchise, to your point.
Maybe it's the Pixar part of it that that might be it though, because The Incredibles isn't that a Pixar film too?
yes.
Yeah.
And that one didn't go straight to DVD. That went straight to theaters.
Yeah. Both of them, right? The second one went to theater too.
Both of them went to theaters.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's a Pixar thing.
It could be a Pixar thing, and I would agree with that because I think even a lot of their shorts, because I used to get into the Pixar shorts, like they have like their little 10-minute stories or 5, not even, some of them were like 3 minutes long, you know. But I loved them. They were always like really cute. They were very well animated. They gave you a story even without words half the time. Like I thought they were. I don't know. I'm behind it, so I guess maybe. Yeah.
Maybe it's because I'm trying to think of like any of the other ones that would have gone. Yeah, because like I think honestly, like Toy Story had the longest, has the most multiples of movies that have gone to theater instead of straight to DVD, as opposed to some of the other Disney movies that have done that. But most of them are related to Pixar.
Mm-hmm.
Cars, yeah, I couldn't hear you, Jermaine, but I think you meant Cars. Cars went to theaters. Was that Pixar too, though?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Disney Pixar's Cars. It had like 12 different names on the front. Yeah.
I wonder if that's a Pixar thing, though.
I would credit to them. They're great in their production.
Yeah. You're muted, Jermaine. Hold on.
Yeah.
You're muted. Your mic isn't connected.
Not a real, guys. What are we doing?
No.
We'll get back to that.
But yeah, we'll come back to it in a second. But anyways, what I want to do is go to a quick commercial, and then we can go into our main topic, which is Wakanda Forever, with lots of spoilers. So prepare.
Oh, man.
Uh-oh. All right, we'll get him back in a second. All right, we'll get back, and we'll do a quick commercial. All right, bye, y'all.
Right. Here's my issue. Like, it almost feels like there can only be one. There can only be one Black writer director at a time that can express the Black experience to where people will jump on board, like Jordan Peele. And so that's not fair because there's enough talent in this panel alone that could put together a full product. My issue is that when it comes to quality, it's like casting, it's like the small, not videographers, it's like, let's tap into people who can capture the Black experience. I think in the writing room, that's why we don't
get the right people. Yeah, get the right people.
That's the problem. That's why we don't have writing good quality horror, because we don't have enough horror writers that can capture the Black horror experience. Yeah. That's Scream Kings, guys. Make sure you check out my show on Wednesday at 8 o'clock Eastern every Wednesday until we say it's over.
Right.
Uh, but we are halfway through season 1, so make sure you tune in. Go back and watch those other episodes if you
Yes.
have not seen them so far. We have a good time. You got 4 guys talking about horror movies, and it's a lot of shade. Thank you. See, Jeremy, you watch with us. You're in the comments. We have a really good time. So make sure you guys tune in.
I definitely agree. So as a producer,
Yeah.
like I've have grown like an appreciation for horror via the screen.
Oh,
No, for real, because like I really enjoy like listening to you guys. I've been enjoying like really listening to you guys and like having to listen to you guys over and over again, like while I'm editing. But like no, but for real though, I love your guys' takes. I love your guys' like enthusiasm and like passion for horror as a genre and like the different facets of horror as a genre.
yeah. Thank you. Because
Mhm.
there's levels to this shit.
It really is. Like I wouldn't have thought it, but there is.
There's levels to it.
All right, so let's get started with our topic, which is Wakanda Forever. So like y'all, if you're all watching right now, you've had a week.
Oh,
Oh my
Y'all had
god.
a week.
they
Yep.
left.
Like so let's go ahead and just say this right now. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. All throughout. Just
All throughout.
If you haven't seen it, we just put your phone down. Don't turn off because we want the views.
No, bro, we want the views.
Yeah,
We want the views.
Take your phone down.
Just come back and watch us later. Okay? It's all right. But okay. Yes, I loved it.
say that.
I think what I enjoy is that Black Panther and Wakanda Forever felt like standalone films, like that could be outside of MCU. Like
Yeah.
yes, there's MCU like world things in it, but like it feels like it could be a separate thing from like the overall arcing.
Mm-hmm. I think, and I think that's something that they are possibly not exactly trying to do purposefully, but
Right.
also purposefully. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
In the way that they have already said that they aren't going to replace him. They're not going to replace the Black Panther again. So they're never actually going to revisit this character essentially, except for through story the way that they are. But then are they actually going to recast another one? I don't know.
They recast based off.
I tell you, we have recasted them.
Oh wait, no. Oh, that's right. No. Okay, so I lied. No, they said they were not going to recast Chad. Okay, that's right. In this Black Panther, so they might do it again with it different. Yeah.
So speaking of that, so speaking of that, like I thought that particularly like the first 20 minutes was a wonderful tribute to Chadwick Boseman and T'Challa, the character as a whole. The funeral sequence was beautiful. Was Letitia Wright, like she brought it for this film as far as like showing the emotion of grieving for her brother and then eventually grieving for Queen Ramonda. Spoiler alert. But yes, but like just the fact that like he was still such a part of the film, in a way that like, you can clearly understand that like they were grieving for the actor as well as the character itself.
Absolutely.
Okay, Tamon. Go on.
Okay, guys.
I see it, and I loved it. Okay, wait. Yeah, go.
Before I say anything,
Okay.
I just want to say that my views will not be liked, and I don't want to be painted the villain by. I just think that I'm going to be a villain by the end of this episode, and I'm prepared to do just that. Now, the moment of silence for Chadwick in the opening credits was amazing. The intensity of starting right off when he's about to die. You can figure out the thing, or she stopped trying to figure it out. Was she trying to still figure out the?
She was trying to recreate the heart-shaped herb,
and she couldn't do it until she got it from the other people.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So all that was great. The funeral was beautiful to look at. I just didn't have any like emotional, surprising, and it could have just been me, honestly. I didn't have any like emotional response really to
Mm-hmm.
any of it. Um, and as far as Letitia goes and her journey on grief, it felt really contrived. Like it felt like this is actually what's scripted and not really felt authentic.
Oh
So
wow.
I know, I'm the worst person ever because, but don't get me wrong, I love the movie. I did love the movie, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm just bringing up other points that people don't talk about because they're just so enthralled
Yeah,
in Black movie experience.
and and that's something to keep in mind when we're talking about these films. And it's hard to kind of like have, I don't know. It's sometimes I feel like it's hard to have a genuine discussion about your critiques about these films because of number one, there's so few of them.
Yeah,
Like
Hmm.
we don't have many Black superhero films, and like in the sense of Marvel, there's only one that's had his own like film like dedicated to him. Like
Yeah.
uh the Falcons had a TV series, but like that wasn't solely him. Um, so like this is like the one that's like this
Because
is
the front runner was with his face anyhow.
right,
yeah,
and like and the
yeah,
thing is like
for
Black
sure.
Panther itself is like was like a cultural reset when it came out, and it did such a great job because we were all backing it
Hmm.
that it's hard to have any like it's sometimes it feels hard to have discourse about it.
Yeah, it is, but I challenge myself to
Although
be
I'll agree,
that
I
more.
thought some of the jokes landed flat because they sounded contrived.
I
I,
don't know, unless you're talking about M'Baku, but like I
He
thought
can do no wrong. So
I'm sorry,
before
M'Baku's lines were hilarious to me.
he
I don't
doesn't have
care.
to, it doesn't matter. It's him, and if he says anything that doesn't make any sense, it's fine.
It's fine. It's
It's fine.
M'Baku.
It's in Baku. It's fine.
Just
It's all
just
fine.
just sit down and like show your thighs. I don't
Yeah,
care.
yes.
You could babble on stage. I couldn't give two shits.
Uh,
I was more upset about when I thought he died in the when he got his
his chest, he literally got punched in his chest.
yes.
Yes.
I would have thought I thought he was Black Panther. I was like,
but
Oh,
but back to so back to like not necessarily Chadwick but T'Challa or King T'Challa in this
no. Yeah.
case. There was this whole thing for the longest time since we knew that they were coming out with Black Panther 2, and like we knew about his passing and like the issues that they were having with prior to the start of filming this in this movie, like what were they going to do as far as T'Challa was concerned and as far as Black Panther. Um, I'm happy that they went with the route of Shuri taking the mantle as Black Panther. Uh, and like it's canon. Is actually canon as far as the comic books are concerned. So that should not have been a big surprise. But I thought that what they did, spoiler alert, hello, with not necessarily recasting T'Challa as in Chadwick T'Challa, but bringing in little Prince T'Challa. He was so precious. I'm sorry.
Tucson.
Toussaint.
That was brilliant.
I loved it.
It still honored T'Challa, King T'Challa,
Mm-hmm.
in a way that still honored Chadwick as well because it's his bloodline. So that's like he does inherit the throne. So now we will get to see our stories with Storm and Black Panther, and
Right.
Black Panther will come back again.
And
And now let's do a time jump.
right. And the thing is, so like that would make, and honestly, that should make sense um for the MCU because the MCU is all about the long game.
Yeah.
It really is all about the long game. So like by the time we see this child grow up, it probably won't be really till phase 5. And that's okay. And like
Yeah.
then we might see some more things. But like
right.
probably I guess no, because technically the Wakanda Forever is
We
the
might,
end
we
of
might
phase
watch
4.
this child grow over the course of phase 5.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We might have Shuri for, like, let's say the rest of phase 5, but we'll still be seeing T'Challa anyhow along the way. And
Right.
then when phase 6 hits, then they're going to hit us with him, like, full grown. something like that, taking the actual throne and stuff. That would actually be awesome. But,
And,
I mean, that's a way of drawing it out, I guess, as well.
yeah, and like I think that makes sense for the MCU to do that. I think it was a still respectful way to continue to continue T'Challa's story, just taking what we've had from the comics and just transfer it over to his son, and then like there's still the possibility for those other stories to happen.
Because his name is T'Challa as well, correct?
Mm-hmm.
It was just so smart and respectful, and
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't even mean that we have to wait that long. In an alternative universe, Toussaint can already be the king of Wakanda somewhere else.
Right.
So we can see an adult Wakanda, adult Toussaint, and sooner than we think. But to your point, another movie with Shuri being Black Panther and Baku being king, because he is king,
Right.
and maybe he's older, maybe he's a teenager,
Right.
so that'll be nice.
Yeah, I think it didn't put it took out that block in what the story could do.
Exactly.
In a way that wasn't like completely far fetched or like out there. Like it could work. It made sense, and it was still respectful to his legacy.
That was one of my mom's favorite parts, actually. I went and saw it with my mom, and she loved it. She loved it. She loved the movie, but that was one of her favorite parts. She was like, "Oh, that was such a nice tribute." And blah, blah, blah. I was like, "Hi, Mom, we're so cute."
Okay, all right. So Cam says Marvel believes in continuity. Recasting was never an option. Tell that to Terrence Howard.
Ooh.
Oh. Well, that was Fox.
Okay.
However, no, that was Marvel. That was
Marvel.
That's Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they got him out early enough,
right?
So we don't talk about that. We don't talk about.
We don't talk about the old roadie.
That's a good point. That is. You know what they didn't recast him? They just transferred the mantle to what's going to make sense for future storylines, which was brilliant. That's probably my favorite thing of this entire movie. How they handled the situation, even starting it out in the beginning with him already dying. That was so smart. They didn't have to prolong it. It had to be. That wasn't a story point. It was more of an execution to start the story, which I thought was really
and I appreciated. Like I understood, especially because they had the opportunity to collaborate with the family, his actual family. Mentioned like he was struggling and suffering from an illness that no one knew about. Like he suffered alone. Like, and he honestly did in real life, in a sense. Like the company that he worked for, his coworkers, a lot of them didn't know about this, and so it was. I think it was a respectful way of honoring.
I think Kevin he probably knew.
Mm-hmm.
I think he definitely knew. I think per contract you have to share certain things about your health, just in general. But I think he knew, and they were able to still craft this story because things moved along so quickly where the there has to be some type of advance notice. Not to take away from Ryan and his ability to write.
Right.
But yeah, that's definitely my favorite thing. And that shines brighter than any of the list of negative things I have to say.
You have a list?
I do have a list. Oh,
he's like, whoosh, with all the scrolls.
Let me count the One.
Okay, so I'll concede that about Rhodey not being Rhodey being a side character and not having the same amount of importance. And I wouldn't necessarily say that. I would say the impact that Rhodes had is nowhere near as what T'Challa and Chadwick Boseman had on the MCU and on in the series for Marvel. So I can concede that point. Okay, so
we kept Terrence Howard. So
okay, so
I did enjoy, however, how they made her. Okay, so each person who takes the mantle, they have to drink the root or whatever, and then they speak to their ancestors. They go on their spirit walk or whatever. I love that they had Killmonger be her kind of be the source of her power in a way.
Yeah.
Versus some of her, Chadwick Boseman, his father being, his ancestor who kind of guides him and gives him his power as the source of those things. So, and like family being the source of his power, and like hers as being, obviously it shows like it's more revenge and stuff. But I thought it was cool how they put him in there for that. I was like, right, bitch, right.
Yeah.
For me,
So
you see why she would want revenge at this point, But
I think with that it was kind of like a catalyst to get her to make a choice, to put her in action, to get her to finally do something. And it was leaning more towards that, like she was feeling vengeance already in her heart. Like she was already just so disconnected to her typical idea of the ancestors early on in the film. That I think it would make sense for her to see somebody like Killmonger to kind of push her into action. Like she was, because by that point she was angry, and like she was tiptoeing around vengeance by that point.
And also it seems as if like maybe that was the only way to really get her to action, because even in the first movie, I don't like she had like those weapons, but they weren't like stun guns kind of a thing. I feel like she's pretty passive in a way,
right?
She like they they were trying to actually push her to be the Black Panther from the get go, and she's kind of been staving that off. Like, no, that's not what I want to do. I'm here to I'm here to learn, and her whole thing is her intelligence. It's her knowledge and her ability in those areas. So she doesn't want to be a Panther in that way. So it was, I guess, that thing that kind of pushed her over.
And I think because like we know that just because you're Black Panther does not automatically make you king or queen. It's just they tend to go hand in hand. Oh look! Yeah. Oh look! It's Mikey.
Hi.
Hey. We love the name Hocus Pocus.
So the what was Cam saying? So Cam saying like, no, they were trying to get her to recreate the herb, not take up the mantle. Yes, so like she was trying to create the heart-shaped herb, mainly because we know in the previous movie Killmonger destroyed their entire like herb garden.
I'm sorry.
I mean, that's what it was. It was a herb. It was a garden of herb.
It was
because the other guards. Remember, they were taught, they would be, they'd hush hush talk to the queen and stuff. But the whole point was to kind of push her in that direction. They were trying to kind of coerce her into becoming the next Panther in some way, or at least sparking her interest in it. But she's always been, against that.
And I think because that she didn't want to be a leader in that way, and I think that is okay.
Absolutely.
But at some point, like you have to do something. Like I think that I don't necessarily see M'Baku, maybe not this M'Baku as Black Panther. I can see
it's the suit. That's all.
That's one of the other things is like she, that's why I think her mother was also like, the queen was really for pushing her on the background.
I thought wait, wasn't Ramonda trying to push Nakia to be Black Panther?
There was so many other choices, honestly.
Yeah, because I feel like if anybody would have, I feel like Ramonda would have pushed Nakia to be more so.
I think at first before she disappeared, because remember she was up and left.
Okoye, she could have done it.
I don't know. If it was up to Quick Ramonda, I don't think she would have agreed to it.
Because, actually, right. No,
because Okoye it was kind of on thin ice with her.
That's what
her character's name.
The
one right next to
Ayo.
Ayo. Ayo. Ayo was the one who was really pushing for it, I think, because she was like, oh, she would take her out on training, but then she would stop kind of coming out with her at one point or another.
I'm missing this part. But
I
anyways,
remember they were speaking about it because she was like, "Oh, it would be great for her to come out with me." Like,
Well, I think
in
she's
the
talking about her lover, right?
I'm sorry.
Was she talking about her lover?
No.
Oh, I must have missed that
No,
part.
when she's talking about Shuri, about getting Shuri out
Oh, to go train.
to go train because she's trained her in the past, but she's Shuri shirks on her training because Shuri isn't that kind of girl. You know what I mean? So it's really just training and defense, I suppose, in some one way or another, for defense in some way or another. But Ao was always very for that, and I just thought that maybe that's actually what it was. Sorry.
I think that's just because she is the princess of Wakanda, and she should be trained in many facets besides being in.
Yeah, exactly that.
So Cam says they're traditionalists. It's highly unlikely that any woman was being
maybe
pushed
not
to be
her.
the Black
Sorry,
Panther.
I was in training. I had that confused for a hot second.
I don't know. Like I feel like there might have been previous women that were Black Panthers at some point because of who they saw. Like when T'Challa was initially like getting his powers back after the challenge day. Like there was like multiple ancestors there, were there not? Like I could be wrong, but I don't know. But so let's go ahead and move on for a second. So I want to talk about the introduction of. They don't call him General. They don't call him King. They call him Kukulkan. Neymar. So the introduction of Neymar and the Talukan. I think it's
my Jesus. Yeah. I think that's why I don't remember so many parts of the movie.
And that's okay. And that is okay.
Yes.
So I loved the introduction of Neymar. This was a pretty big deal for the Mesoamerican indigenous
okay, the music also bangers. Yeah. All bangers. Wow, guys, bangers.
Yes. So we have Namor or Namor in this case. Namor. Introduced in this film. And he's a smooth as hell dude, and I can't necessarily call him a villain.
I'm gonna go with.
I don't know.
He's still a villain, but he's very charismatic, and
yeah. Oh, he's gonna be a villain. He's gonna stay a villain too.
He's gonna be great.
I support Neymar's rights and I support Neymar's wrongs. Okay?
Actually, no, he's not going to stay a villain, but he's going to do something villainous still.
Yeah, of course. I actually appreciated his origin story. It was quick and to the point, and we understood his plight with colonizers. His face similar to most of ours. So, great. We like him. We get what he did. Blah 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 blah. But he didn't have to kill Angela Bassett. That's
his one villain.
That's why he's always a villain.
That's why he's a villain.
As per usual, but Angela Bassett looked amazing.
He was the best part of this movie too.
Every fit was phenomenal.
We're gonna talk about we'll talk about her because I do want to talk about the women of Wakanda, in general.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because yes, okay, so shout out to the first modern mutant.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's not the first mention of mutants outright. Technically, that would be Miss Marvel. They mentioned there was a mutation with her cells.
Yeah,
but yes. But I think he's the first one for himself to self-proclaim himself as a mutant.
But is he saying he's in the general population of mutants, or because he has a mutation, he is a mutant? And then
I think he's saying that because he has a mutation, he is a mutant. That is the idea I got from it.
That's what I got. I didn't get that he was saying that he's part of this subclass of humanoids called mutants.
I don't know, because what we've been seeing throughout this phase is that there have been people with abilities that just kind of been here. And may not necessarily be mutants, but
I wouldn't put past Disney to actually write it that, double
Mhm.
sentient, we call it. So it's like it has two
For
meanings.
sure, that was smart to do
Yeah,
so.
that, and so.
I'm just saying, like,
But
we.
there's two different meanings as it relates to Marvel.
I mean, it could be.
Yeah.
So he's a villain with a noble cause. And that's
That.
and that was kind of like he's kind of the in between for me between like the cause for Killmonger, which is very similar to the cause that Nakia had, because Nakia and Killmonger were talking the same things, but their approaches were just on the opposite ends of the spectrum. It's just Namor was tilting more towards Killmonger's side of the of
Yeah.
the cause.
But Killmonger then kill Angela Bassett.
Oh
It
God.
doesn't.
He's like he gets an axe in my book no matter what.
He made it to the ancestor, so I'm sure he's fine. So maybe they wasn't mad at him either.
So
I
what?
agree.
So how was y'all's like introduction? So what y'all feel about the introduction of Namor, Talu Khan, his people, that world that they
That's
built
the
in the water?
That's gonna come back, and that's where they can't. That's how they can't make him a true villain, because he's going to, his purpose is, you're right, it's a noble cause, but it's more than just a cause. It's literally a population of people. So it's like they're not going to wipe all these people out or anything like that. You know what I mean? They have to resolve him somehow. So he's gonna have to atone, I suppose, at some point or another. But we're gonna forget, of course. By then, it's gonna be like phase 7 or something like that. When we've forgotten that he's killed Angela Bassett.
No, we would never forget.
You
You know what?
It's just how we treat our politicians, guys. Wait long enough and we'll all forget.
Fine. He can be a villain.
He's still a villain, exactly, but he's still kind of a villain.
That's all that makes him a villain.
I can still look at him.
He's just waiting. He's just waiting for, he's like, yeah, we're gonna just be allies, but it doesn't matter because we're still gonna be allies against the humans anyway, because they're gonna come for them. So either way, the other people are coming for the vibranium at least.
I thought that they handled the underworld CGI effects better than Aquaman did. I like that they had more pockets of breathable space for humans. Even I did like how they made the little magical bubble on Aquaman, but I did like how they had like more caverns and things like that going on, and showcase their technology, and not just that they're this ancient civilization that's primitive. No, they actually have functioning technology that's older than this world. So that was this current world that we live in right there.
Right.
So that was nice to see.
So like I agree with Kim. I don't believe that he's atoning. I think that he gotten out. He got it out. He was shown mercy, but he's taking that chance to bide his time.
That's what every villain does.
I know.
I'm gonna yield. We're gonna yield because I don't want to kill everybody, including me. But the next time I find you, Rangers, I'm gonna get you.
Hi, this guy, so sad.
Oh.
Frank, Joseph, something.
Oh,
Jason David Frank.
Tommy.
Tommy, that's all I know.
It's our moment of silence. So
we do. Yeah, because he's on his buying his time, and like he told us his like right man woman that hey, we can us the Wakandans have a similar dilemma right now, that they're like Wakanda's pretty much alone in their issues outside of Talu Khan, with the issues of these other major countries, the US, France, whatever, trying to get a hold of vibranium, particularly the US, and they're going to need an ally, and when the time comes, they're going to cash in. And that's what we're going to see soon. They're going to, like, he's like, we got this. Like, they might be cool with us right now. We might be all right, but I'm going to cash in on this because they're going to need our help.
Yeah, for sure. But after this is settled and y'all are relaxed and we did some more work, we coming for y'all once again.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And we need to go play it and
Yeah. Yeah, he'll be
I
able
wonder
to.
does his wing grow back on his leg? On his leg.
Oh, that's a good question.
There were some good memes and gifs about that wing too.
Oh, the one that she ripped off. I was like, no.
Oh, no. That was like,
Like, he'll never fly again.
Sort of. He have a little lip fly.
no.
We don't.
Okay, so Cam says he's an anti-hero. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
He's a defense writer. I hope he is. Sorry, guys.
What?
You know what? And on that note, we're going to take another quick commercial break so Julie can get himself together. Okay. All right.
Guys,
I will be right back with some more Wakanda Forever. All right, so we're back with some more Wakanda Forever. Thank you for joining us. Tamag, give your spiel.
Oh, TK Publishing. If you have a story that you want to get told, you can reach out to me at Taman Kane at tkpublishing.info. We are helping indie authors get their stories told, from collections to autobiographies, whatever you want to talk about. I'll help you figure out your voice to get it told. Thank you.
Ooh.
Back to you, Nikki.
Okay, so this is a topic that I wanted to bring up because it was kind of talked about a lot when the first film came out, where, like, no shade to Chadwick Boseman, but even in the first film, the women in the movie really set the bar. They were the standouts for me in the film. And when now, even with still we have M'Baku, even with Namor, like, the women of Wakanda were the standouts to me. And I'm really appreciate that they leaned on the fact that they had such strong women characters, multiple strong women characters in this film to push the story along. So, we have Okoye, we have Shuri, we have Queen Ramonda, like that opening, not opening, but like, yeah, like Queen Ramonda's like opening scene. Bless you. Where she's meeting with the nations, and they're like,
so bomb.
Right, and they're like, well, Wakanda hasn't done what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to be trading us vibranium and da-da-da-da. I'm like, we just had a blip. My son just died. My husband's dead.
I'm the queen.
I'm the queen now.
Let me show you.
And it's not like y'all haven't been trying to steal our vibranium in the first place.
In fact, bring them in.
Bring them in.
Exhibit A, please.
B.
Yes.
You know what? That was probably one of my favorite scenes as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, that literally.
First of all, any scene Angela Bassett was in this movie, she's on my pros list. She destroyed every scene that she was in, and she looked fabulous in every scene that she was in, even when she had the little wet mini fro when she was dead.
Oh my god, I live for it. I still live for it.
It looked amazing, and she got them together in the way that a queen would actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, her final scene was beautiful. It was fucking beautiful. It was like a photo shot.
Yeah.
It was her holding up, on her way up. That was it. Oh god.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a superhero. She went out like a hero.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I love that. But she told them, if we have to have this conversation again, it's gonna be a whole different conversation we're gonna have. Now try it.
You don't know. And then quiet as it's kept. Okay, cool. Y'all trying to steal our vibranium, but now you got a whole other country that y'all aren't really even aware of. A whole other nation of folks that got
vibranium y'all out too.
Right. and they don't care about trying to keep keep the peace with the surface folks.
No, they actually hate y'all.
Right, legit.
But for real.
Look, legit. Like so,
All
like
surface people.
all of them. They ain't trying to deal with none of y'all. So like, I tread lightly. Leave us alone.
But most specifically, y'all.
I also felt that in my soul though.
That's true.
Like, but yes.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, okay. So hey, Jermaine, we just started talking about like the women of Wakanda, that literally held it down throughout this entire movie. So Queen Ramonda, of course, Shuri, Okoye. Y'all gonna quit talking about my girl Okoye and quit dogging on her. Okay. No, not y'all, but like she kept getting clowned throughout the movie.
Her makeup not matching.
Right, between M'Baku and then Riri. Talking about her ashy bald head. Y'all can leave my girl alone.
They just said her makeup didn't match.
They said her whole bald head was ashy.
It's hard to find.
First of all,
it's hard to match.
Okoye was looking good all movie long. All movie long. Every fit was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, the red one with the blazer on top.
Very cute.
Yeah, her freaking jogging outfit. Like, what? Where's that?
All right, high fantasy nerd. But if I don't know if anyone knows the reference, but it gave me Kara from The Sword of Truth.
Mm-hmm.
The the dominatrixes, you know what I mean? And they have the rod that like brings pain.
Yeah.
With a splash of Jim in the hologram.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
And that like crochet dress thing that she had during the after party.
Oh yeah, she looked good. And that gray number she came in the courthouse with.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Be dressed down.
But I'm sorry, even Shuri dressed down. You know, the Shuri's supposed to be like the studious one and like have her and like that.
Shuri was there.
But still.
Thank you.
On point.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Jermaine.
See, he
was there.
He called a bald-headed.
She was
That's so rude.
Look,
Zachary Binks says he called her a bald-headed demon.
look,
right.
Look, that's gonna be added to my vocabulary of things to call folks now.
You bald-headed. That's so funny.
And then we were introduced to a new, I guess not technically new, but new character to us of the Dora Milaje and the Dora Milaje in general. Off the chain, love Dora Milaje because we still have Ayo, who we've seen Ayo in Civil War. We've seen her in Black Panther. We've seen her in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and we're back for the sequel. But Ayo and then her girlfriend. What is her name? Played by Michaela Cole.
Michaela Cole.
That's who she is. Michaela Cole.
She didn't have no name.
Right. She had a name. They called her name.
She had a name. It was like Shiny or Shinx or something.
You know it? Do y'all know it in the audience? If nobody knows it.
Yeah, who in the audience remembers her name?
But it's Michaela Cole with her like
chewing gum.
Yes, Miss Chewing Gum.
It was the Light Daggers girl.
Yes.
She's the one who I was excited to see, but only had 2.5 scenes.
Right. I was kind of like hoping she would have more lines, but
or something to do.
I feel like she and Riri Williams were just like added in, like, oh yeah, we got these guys here. You guys got to be in the movie. Go.
Lesbian couple, perfect. Let's do it.
Yes. Okay. That were really sweet though to see at the end. But so
yeah, that was sweet.
So with Riri Williams being introduced now into the MCU, we're gonna have Ironheart now. So I guess we're getting Young Avengers coming up.
I mean, we all saw the Young Avengers coming.
Yeah.
Well,
They don't need Riri Williams.
That's a cute name.
Anika. Yes, okay. But
Aneka.
Maybe they'll be in
Thank you.
Oteo's TV show. Maybe they'll be a part of her show.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? But I was disappointed because she was wasted.
Yeah, I think she might be. I think she's just more like introduced now.
Mm-hmm. Probably
so you can actually use her later.
And I think because she's not supposed to be she's more of a plot point that leads us into other things that'll be introduced. Like, she's not crazy important to Wakanda forever. Like,
Yeah, she is. She's the whole living MacGuffin.
well, I think because like we're expecting more out of what they did with her character, as opposed to like how they used her was like like what they used Riri Williams for is a segue into what they're planning on doing later with other characters,
Right.
particularly when it comes to like what's her name, Valentina, was it called the Thunderbolt?
Valentina Allegra,
Yeah, like and like
De Fontaine.
yes, and like the search for more vibranium and like like I think she's more of a segue right now into other things as opposed to her herself.
I enjoyed her. She's
I
pros list too.
The thing with Riri Williams is they used her in this movie the same way that you use like Nameless Scientist number 2 in any other action movie. Like,
she was definitely the Bond girl that needs to be rescued because she has the formula to make. Yeah,
she really did have the formula though.
She literally did have the formula to make.
They're like, oh, she's the one that created the machine that could detect vibranium. How did she create a machine that detected vibranium without vibranium to test it on? How y'all just find out that out? And she just like, oh, I just created this in my spare time to pass like some.
It was a dare. I like my professor dared me to, and I took the challenge. That was
It's for my metallurgy class. Everybody else is writing essays. What are you doing making super metal detectors?
Getting paid to write everybody else's essays.
That's true.
Yeah, and writing everybody else's essays.
Getting paid to do everybody else's project.
You know, she's at MIT. Does that also mean that Mary Jane and
Ned Leeds?
Yeah,
maybe.
There might be freshmen there.
See,
maybe they friends. Maybe they sit at the same table.
Nah.
Friends. You know, her character cannot have friends too.
She don't got friends. No. She too busy being about her and her bands.
Yes.
Yeah.
And her car and her hat, like
she built this vibranium detector, right? She built the whole vibranium detector, right? But she got no. Oh, she didn't get any coin for it, bitch. That's right.
She did have a dare, and then he
essentially stole it from her.
So if you're going based off the comic books, like Tony Stark was a mentor for Riri Williams, but in this case, Tony Stark has passed away. He did. And they focused more on him being more of a mentor to Peter Parker than Riri. Do you think that they'll try to bring back some essence of them, like maybe meeting prior to him passing away?
No. It's pointless at this point.
Yeah.
She's like 1920 in this film. So
how old was Iron Man when we saw him get his powers?
20,
that was 20 years ago, right?
In his 30s, 40s?
Yeah, that's like
he was like 30, 40, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 30s.
Okay.
I'm just saying if they were going to plan to like connect to introduce that connection that's technically canon in the comics. Or
if they were going to try to retcon it and be like, right. Oh no, she met him before.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, so I wonder, like, is that even like worth bringing up? Because they spent more of their time making him more of a mentor for Spider-Man than they did.
Maybe Shuri will be her mentor once she graduates from MIT, which
and that would make sense, honestly.
Yeah,
it makes sense, but for Riri Williams specifically, it would. The only way I could see them connecting her to Tony is if word gets out that she reverse engineered her own Iron Man suit and Pepper Potts and Happy Hogan went and reached out to her.
See that I could see that. I can see that. So maybe not directly Tony, but like Pepper Potts.
But
Mhm.
that's not going to happen either because she's already on the radar for Val. So
Yeah.
like, and can we talk about how annoying Val was in this movie?
Who is
Yeah.
that?
Like
Valentina.
Predator. She's the
Oh,
Valentina
I love
Allegra de Fontaine.
I loved her.
Of course you did.
Like her
love
character doesn't annoy me. Her character, I love her character. What I don't like is how like hand wavy they are with like some of the things she can do. Like she was like, "Oh, I bugged your Komoyo beads." How?
How?
Where does America have the technology to bug Komoyo beads?
What type of bug is it?
Like, how
Like
you
Shield couldn't even do that mess. Shield didn't even know about Wakanda, but you know, like everything about Wakanda.
I like that.
Apparently so.
Is she supposed to have like spy abilities? You know what I mean? Is
She is on the same level as Shield. She was a member of Shield.
Okay, so but she
So like the anti Nick Fury, I guess.
Yeah.
okay.
And so like Nick Fury himself didn't have special abilities. He just,
Yeah, but he had a very
super spy
strong
intelligence and
Like Black
yeah.
Widow. He's just good.
and combat was like highest of among highest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and she had nowhere near more access to information than Nick Fury.
Okay.
Like Nick Fury was at the same level as the dude from Winter Soldier. And then like 5 rungs, like 1 rung beneath them is Maria Hill. And then like 5 rungs later is
Valentina
Valerie Allegra de Fontaine.
We feel passionate about this moment. But yes, any thoughts on any other thoughts on the women of Wakanda? How they carried? Nakia.
Nakia underused also. I mean, she did her one scene that she did something was really nice, and she looked amazing.
Ooh, Peter.
So thick. She was amazing. Nakia.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Nakia looks so good in that movie. I was like, wait.
Who's got all that?
Yeah,
right.
Where that
I
come
was
from?
like, hold the cake up. Where, was she like this in the first movie?
I don't remember that.
Like, girl, where did all this come from?
First movie. I would have remembered.
No, she did.
But her, it really spoke. You know what? Now that I think about it, Jermaine, this does feel like a Bond movie, right? Because she is this other female character who's not the Bond girl, who's also an agent, but you didn't know she was an agent. She was just at the bar. You flirted with her, James Bond. She's also an agent with another authority, and that's what Nakia was given. Let me go.
But she's always been that. She's always been played that way, or at least I'm sorry, not always, because she's only been in 2 movies. But like she's been played that way in the previous movie, where it's like.
Yeah,
like
she doesn't realize that she's an agent, but she's got all these fucking.
She's an agent and spy, but like she a roundaway girl, okay?
How they played her in the first one. It's like, but I guess they did it so well that we forgot that she was actually a spy by the end of it.
Well, in the first one, her being a spy and being like a sort of like out there girl, being an agent, they handled that at the very beginning of the movie. Mm-hmm. And that was when she was like, when the king was like, bring her back, cancel that mission. And she was like, oh, I'm still in the middle of a mission. Like, that was when Black Panther ambushed those dudes in the middle of the jungle.
Right. Yeah, she's jumping out of trees. She was a passenger jumping out because she's undercover for years.
Right.
Yeah, she was undercover.
But now she's a school teacher and a mom. By night, it's just like, come on, Nakia, what don't you do?
She was doing what she wanted to.
She's also a deep sea diver because she went way down there to get sure.
She's skilled. Don't play her.
Oh, okay? She's amazing. Toussaint is probably gonna be disgusting by the time she's finished with it.
Toussaint is so cute.
His name is so cute. Yeah.
He's So precious looking. All right, but I think I appreciate that. Like, Nakia was the main one that not introduced, but that helped convince T'Challa that like Wakanda needed to do more out in the world, and it wasn't doing much to help to just kind of stay insular. And so it made sense to me that if she were trying to, especially if she got pregnant and she had a baby, she'd kind of keep it cool. Maybe I'll stay in Haiti and like run a school sponsored by Wakanda and teach these babies some skills.
Yeah.
Keep him away from all of
Right.
the Wakandanese like political hoo-ha, because the last time she was there they had a civil war and all their purple herbs got burnt, so she was like, yeah, I ain't gonna be around none of this.
At least she didn't take it to the States, so that was.
And let's not forget Thanos attack. So like
my father disappeared for 5 years, so here I am raising your ass by myself for 5 years, and he comes back for a year and then he's gone. That's a lot of trauma.
That is.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot to deal with.
That would have been a great point.
It's very homeschool. I'm seeing this. she said, I'm done with this. I'm done with the rest of the public school.
Yeah, even though I do have the King of Wakanda in my possession.
Right. The heir to the throne.
Which doesn't mean anything because now M'Baku is the king.
The elevator was very general.
He would have to challenge, right?
Yeah, he would have to challenge, but like that'd be like anybody though. Like anybody could challenge. Like a challenge does, it'd be okay. But like he would just have the right as like the heir of the T'Chaka line.
Oh yeah, for sure. Bloodline to it, but I would like to say that for this to be about that, and then for Shuri to not be queen, it's just that sort of upset me for her character development. And I get what they were doing because that's not her thing. You know, she's doing being
but
Black.
They could do that.
She's not. They could, but
she's not the queen type.
Right.
She's not the Black Panther type either, but she had no choice.
And
girl, give them powers up.
Now who's going to
give that suit up?
When you have zero other choices now, she has to step up at this point. I feel like because
maybe, but just like anybody could be queen based off the challenge, anybody could also been.
You know what I want them to do, which I know they won't do because that's so much, but I really would love for them to get into the other tribes of Wakanda. Like, we know the Black Panther tribe. Well, okay, like T'Challa and Shuri belong to the Panther tribe, right? And M'Baku and the Jabari, that's the white gorilla tribe. But then there's also like the crocodile tribe and the
vibranium tribe. That's pretty new.
The river tribe.
Yeah, the river tribe, the wolf tribe. Like there are other tribes that have prayed to different deities across the place that make up Wakanda.
It's been rumored that Adore Milaje series would be in the works.
I think Okoye is having a TV show.
Either Okoye or at least Ayo. But maybe that is a perfect opportunity to explore more of those faces. Is she queer though?
Basically.
Is she?
Yeah.
Her character
very. You could tell.
Oh yeah, she and Riri had some vibes.
So did her and Namor.
Oh man, it's impossible not to have vibes with Namor though. When he all up on you, like.
Look, I'm sorry, but if you bring me down to your underwater world and give me your mama's bracelet. And do it like that. I ain't never come back to the surface.
She's giving me vibes, and that's totally okay.
I ain't never come back to the surface. I'm
Ricky, not reverse Ariel me.
I'm telling my kids, look, let's come look over the sea real quick. I got your new stepdad. Come on.
I don't think you're allergic to shellfish or not. You're gonna be fine.
It's fine.
Even when he stepped up on Ramonda to threaten her, when he was like inches away from her face, I was just like, you know what? You were right, boo. I'm sorry.
This little black girl don't mean nothing. In fact, bring her.
Oh my god! My thing is though, like so if we want to get into like some offset things, like okay, maybe I'm gonna keep it to myself. Never mind. Anyways, so one last thing. So what does this all mean for phase 4? Phase 4, phase of grief. And if we look back on everything we've seen from phase 4, from WandaVision to Loki, Multiverse of Madness, Falcon and Winter Soldier, like even Hawkeye, like we are dealing with grief. Grief for those that didn't make it after Endgame, and what does that mean for these people? Wanda losing Vision, and right,
and her kids, and her brother,
kids, right,
and her sanity,
her sand.
Yes, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like, what does it mean to lose Captain America? As the entity that he was, and like who takes on the mantle of that, and who takes on the burden of being Captain America in this sense?
A black man,
right? So what do you think? So with that in mind, like we've seen this overarching like handling of grief in a sense, with the exception of, I guess, She-Hulk. We didn't really get that with She-Hulk.
We
didn't get anything with She-Hulk.
Okay, Jermaine, thank you. I was about to say that, but I censored myself because this is Black Panther.
So what do we think is the next stage? What's the next phase of the MCU?
Phoenix Rebirth. So we're about to get the X-Men, and Jean Grey's coming out first.
Okay, hold on. Slow your roll.
Although, honestly, that actually sounds right about on time, right? Because we're talking about grief and a lot of passing, a lot of death, and a lot of like moving on, and like now
they're not gonna do that. I'm telling you, Phoenix is still too fresh.
Yeah. They're gonna slow roll us on the mutants. They're excited to do the mutants because they keep dropping it ever since Miss Marvel, and then Namor just randomly was like, "Yeah, a mutant." Like what? Never in Namor's life has he ever
called himself a mutant.
Right.
But he was trying to talk about his mutation. He was saying that he's a part of the world group known as, or the subhuman group called mutants. That's not what he was saying. He was just saying
we don't think
his mutation.
I know, but
that's a great play on words for Marvel.
Yeah.
It can be.
What? I think, well, it was a joke what I said, but I would love to actually see the X-Men post the Phoenix Saga, because there's a lot of great storylines after that involving Jean Grey, who matters the most, right? And so there's a lot of great storylines that happen after the Phoenix Saga.
There's a lot of great stories that happen after Decimation, but they actually have told a lot of the good stories that took place after the Phoenix Saga, like God loves, man kills, the Day of Future Past, all that stuff comes after the Phoenix Saga.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't really string them together properly. And from the way that the world is set up these days, like mutants won't be the same, like in the same vein that they were in the comic when they started. Like people aren't going to be like outright afraid of them just replacing them like they might be. But it's weird.
Do you think
we've been down this road?
Do you think they'll really introduce the X-Men as the entity that we know it, with Cyclops,
They're gonna retcon the whole thing.
Oh,
Storm,
They're
Professor
gonna
X.
and then tell them.
Well, you know it's going to be a reduced team. They're probably going to try to do like a 5-member team like the originals in the comics, but not the exact same 5. Like you're going to have Cyclops and Jean and Storm and probably Wolverine. Though we can probably leave Wolverine out. Don't need him.
The thing is, like, but you name like at least 2-3 of those characters where like they've had so much already put into them in the previous rendition of them. Like Wolverine, as far as we know from the Fox universe of it, has like took a life of its own. And then even
so you want them to do a whole batch of New Mutants, like
know.
Surge and Armor and Elixir and Jubilee?
No one's waiting to see Elixir. No one is like, oh my god, I can't wait for the X-Men so I can see Elixir and Jubilee. They're not.
Yeah, no one's excited for them because nobody knows them. But the same could have been said for Namor like 4 months ago. The same could have been said for the Guardians of the Galaxy right before they came out.
Yeah, we could have said that.
Okay, you're right.
But they're also not the X-Men either. Guardians of the Galaxy is also not the X-Men either. So that, I don't know if that's...
So
they better go... Okay, hold up. Cam C says they're going X-Men Evolution, and I can only hope that they go that direction.
I think they are. I mean, because I feel like they're going to do young X-Men. They're going to do the birth of the X-Men kind of thing.
Well, the X-Men originally were tagged as the strangest teens of all. The original team, when they were Cyclops, Jean, Beast, Iceman, and Angel, they were all teenagers. Cyclops was 16. Jean was 16.
Yeah.
What?
But so I'm of the like he's also it's all about fighting Kang. So we'll see Kang in the new Ant-Man film, and how all that like effect comes in along with the Eternals as well. I guess I don't know, but
yeah. I was like, oh, the Eternals actually have a tie-in. Like what? Who thought?
But but the thing is though, like I'm of the mind that they are not going to even really worry about like introducing the X-Men.
No, not until all this Kang business is done.
For a while, and the thing is, the main reason why like us as fans, MCU fans, are even like clawing like for like grasping at straws as far as like how the X-Men are going to be tied in is because of we know of the situation with Fox and them being bought out and then Disney acquiring all of them, so now they can be officially part of the MCU. So we're just waiting for that for someone to possibly do it differently or do it better. But I feel like they're still too fresh, and it's still
the Fantastic Four will come first.
Yeah.
Actually,
we know that for a fact, right?
Yeah.
What I want to touch on is Tamon brought something up earlier, which seems very appropriate and very like targeted for or correct for the next phase, which is the rebirth. But it's not going to be quite a rebirth as we see it. Like the next phase, we're going to get the Thunderbolts, and the Thunderbolts is probably most likely the Dark Avengers, and I'm so excited. I want to see this government-run group of people that are taking on the Avengers roles, but like not really stopping like the crime that needs to be stopped. They're just going to be like, oh, we're here for PR reasons, and then we're going to do like some wet work stuff, like, and from them not doing Avengers-y things, therein comes the birth of the young Avengers, because it's the kids. They're like, well, if the adults aren't going to do it, then it's up to us to take care of it and to protect everybody. That would lead to a clash between the young Avengers and the Thunderbolts, and that would be just such a great movie.
But street teams, there's rumors that Jessica Jones and Daredevil and
Mhm.
a lot of those people are getting their shows put on Disney Plus. So these street teams, I think we're about to ground ourselves in realism and show
Mm,
what day to day life is like. One segment at least, day to day life is like for humans, but I'm actually something different. I think we're going to see more of that. But also, remember, we're tipping into supernatural and we're tipping into space. And so there's a lot of the births of different universes for sure.
Mhm.
I feel like they're spreading themselves too thin trying to do all these extra projects for Disney Plus. And like the Disney Plus shows have been more miss than hit. Like they sort of like you get excited, then you watch it and you're like, this could have been executed better. This
Only maybe two I felt that way about. So I think it's more of a hit for me.
I think it depends on what you're looking for because like
Oh no, Android is fucking amazing.
but also like I think because the lineup of what the original lineup of those shows was completely changed when COVID happened, and so how I think there could have been a better build up because like say what you want about WandaVision set the bar like extremely high.
really high, but if you compare WandaVision to like Hawkeye, like
But you shouldn't be though.
But like the thing is like you shouldn't though. Like the thing is that yes they're part of the same universe, but like they're different aspects of the
they're
universe.
different aspects, yes.
And like
I get a season 2.
I don't know.
Possibly. I mean, I feel like it should just because not really. Like Kate Bishop's there. The next time we see her should be in Young Justice
Well,
or
if that's the case,
Young Avengers.
you can't compare them because WandaVision was written to be one season and standalone and sets a tone for what's happening next
Right.
versus those other shows. Even Loki. Loki does that too, but Loki is meant for the television to develop a story plot that way. WandaVision was completely different. It was like the front end of like an end cap of
Right.
the
It was supposed to set up Multiverse of Madness. Like that's what it was.
So stellar that you just really can't you cannot use it as the comparison for other. Compare those shows to themselves, to other shows like it. You know what I mean? Compare Hawkeye to She-Hulk to whatever the next one might be. But WandaVision was just so its bar was so high. It's an outlier at this point. You can't use it as a as the
That's because WandaVision was written to be a show, and the other shows were written to be extra long movies.
That I can see.
Sure.
So you have to put him you have to kind of put him in two separate camps as far as the TV series are concerned. So like WandaVision it's in one camp. Loki is leaning towards the WandaVision camp, not necessarily as far as quality, but like as far as where they're taking the story. Whereas like Falcon and Winter Soldier, Hawkeye, feel like they're in a separate camp, mainly because they're talking about like separate like aspects of the universe.
Yeah.
They're all transitional stories, but they're transitions for different parts of the story.
Right.
We would say. So
Yeah.
that's the point, you know what I mean? So it's like it's hard to compare them all because they are all different storylines that we're talking about that they're transitioning through. So it really
I can still compare them because some are executed better than others.
Yes, but all I'm saying is just that WandaVision is an outlier. WandaVision as its quality is too high to use as the benchmark for every other show.
I don't have to compare it to WandaVision, and not like WandaVision's not infallible either. That third that third arc, that last part, ever since Agatha Agatha's song, that from that moment on, it was a mess.
All
Yeah,
because the song lied to you. It wasn't Agatha all along. It was Wanda. And then, like, they try to make it like Wanda was the victim when Wanda wasn't. Wanda victimized everybody else, and then she was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna give up my family that I made up from my own magic and fly away." And then freaking Monica's like, "They'll never know what you gave up to sacrifice for them." Excuse me?
Right?
No, ma'am.
They weren't real in the first place, bitch.
Or real to her, and that's
So
what matters.
she gets away from hypnotizing and imprisoning all of us because she had to give up her imaginary family? No.
Oh man. Okay. So this is something we'll have to debate like further down the long because it's time to about
Time to wrap it up.
Time to wrap it up, y'all. So quick final thoughts. Wakanda Forever, Julian.
Fashion, amazing. I thought okay, that's like the front runner, Angela Bassett, period. And then it was just otherwise. It was good. It was great. It was a nice story. It was heartfelt. I had a good time. Yeah, a few things fell flat, but it wasn't enough to ruin the experience. You know what I mean? I still had a great time. It was a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Tamon, final thoughts.
Okay, final thoughts. It felt like a movie of side characters coming together for one final season of a TV show.
Okay.
Not the Connors. Shut up.
It felt Chadwick, even though we have such strong female characters, Chadwick Boseman was the gravity. T'Challa was the gravity that grounded the Black Panther movie, and unfortunately, his younger sister does not have it to pull that off. So I don't want to see her as the lead again because she's flat to me. She's great. I like her in other things, but as far as her being in the Black Panther and her driving these movies forward, it's a no. Let's give me an alternate universe where Toussaint is 20-year-old, or he get rescued by Storm as a child. Something like that will be great. But as far as her, it's a no. Angela Bassett, it's a yes. All the other side characters, it was disjointed, and they were just side characters doing a final season after the main character died. I still loved it.
Honestly, I agree. I think Shuri fell flat a little bit in this, and I enjoyed her more in the first movie.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. She was happy in the first movie. In this movie, she was angry.
I guess that's perhaps why, but
I didn't get mourning or grief from her. I just got, I am choosing to be this way because the script says this is the way I have to be.
I got mourning and grief from her in certain parts, and I think that otherwise she fell flat. I have to agree.
Oh, one last thing. Ironheart, you were great. Great punchlines, great energy. You have this energy and angst about you that I love to see throughout. I can't wait to see more of you. I enjoyed you more than Shuri, even though you were in way less scenes. And Shuri looked amazing in her jumpsuit and underwater, and that's it.
Okay.
I'm mad that Ironheart was like, oh, everybody from Talokan wants to kill me. So I'm going to jump in the front lines in this suit of armor in the final battle and dive underwater with these big lighter Zippo thrusters that somehow don't drown underwater, but okay. But that was just me.
Are those your final thoughts, Jermaine?
No, my final thoughts is
Go ahead.
This movie is the sequel. Like, it is the sequel I wanted Hocus Pocus 2 to be. It perfectly brings, moves the story forward without, leaning too much on the first one. You see the first one, you understand what happens, but you're going forward and you see everybody carries the story so beautifully. And echoes the themes of leadership and past pain and having to grow from. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I love this movie.
No, you don't.
No.
Yes, I do. Just because I don't like Riri.
Oh man. Oh, okay. So I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I thoroughly enjoyed the Women of Wakanda. I still believe that it, like, Black Panther and Wakanda Forever themselves were like could be like a standalone thing. Um, they did a really good job of kind of separating them in a way that wasn't like completely alienating from the rest of the MCU, but like it was able to kind of like be very insular.
Yeah.
In a way that was like it wasn't like, okay, yes, this MCU, but also like it can be by himself. Like it's okay.
They
Um,
weren't too busy trying to throw cameos
I was
in.
just about to
right,
say that. Maybe I appreciate it more that we didn't see Hawkeye and Anthony Mackie walking down the street in all white.
right, right.
You know,
And so
maybe I
it's
can appreciate that. Yeah.
so funnily enough, like someone on TikTok had mentioned like they were disappointed that like that no one else, like none of the Avengers showed up to T'Challa's funeral. And it's like, but why would they though? Because he wasn't necessarily like close with any of them.
Mm-mm.
And like I think it would have taken away from the special what it would
Except for
take away
Winter
from the
Soldier.
funeral. Maybe. And like he would have been the only like one that would make sense.
He should
Yeah.
actually paint it. Slow down.
He would have been the only one that would have made the most sense to me.
And any other black character that's been introduced so far in these other movies?
Barely.
Which are none. I don't
Right.
think.
I have a question about the movie, or something that happened in the movie. As soon as Queen Ramonda died, right?
Mm-hmm.
As soon as it happened, how did CNN have the scoop on it for Val to just throw it up on TV?
It was
Right, as if Wakanda isn't like a hidden nation. You know what I mean? They just want to know about it.
It was
But here we're reporting live.
They were like, "Oh, the Queen is dead." How y'all know?
because they've been
Who
waiting
was
on this.
Wakanda telling people?
There's an op. There's somebody telling secrets.
No, remember they put a
Oh right. The aquarium beads. Yes.
Yeah. Then Ross would know if they had called Ross and told him, but CNN wouldn't know.
Nobody called Ross.
I don't know.
We were busy grieving to contact the press. Sorry, we're not in America.
I know. That's what I mean.
Oh,
You died. Quick, call the press.
That was the
All
only
right.
thing that took me out of the movie. I was like, how they know? How come now news like American news is all up on Wakanda? Just like, yeah, we know all the news. We breaking it as it happens.
That's a little bit of suspension of belief, I suppose. Is really all.
I don't know.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
so it's time for us to wrap it up. Sorry. So Julian, you can find you at where?
Bad Juju, double B's, double D's over at Twitch. Otherwise, 1B on like Instagram, anywhere else, essentially. Yes.
All right, Taman.
You can find me at Taman Kane everywhere: Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, and you can find me on Scream Kings every Wednesday at 8:00, where we talk about all things horror. This Wednesday coming up too.
Jermaine, where can we find you?
You can find me here and on YouTube at Your Fear, and well, it used to be Twitter, but I can't remember how to log back in. So
Oh, Twitter's a dumpster fire. Wait, can we like? No, that's
No,
not.
we cannot.
that's going to be on the
I
extra.
would love to talk about it at the same time.
That's an extra episode right there.
I mean, when we get ready to move to somewhere else, we'll let y'all know.
But yeah, TikTok and YouTube, you can find me at Your Fear.
All right. Well, then you can find me, Ricky Z, at RickyZ_social on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all the fun things, Twitch as well. All right. So thank you for joining us for another episode of Geekin Out. Hopefully y'all enjoyed tonight's episode. Tell us what you thought. Let us know in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Share the episode with your friends after they've seen the movie, y'all. Like we told y'all ahead of time, this is gonna spoil it. So if they haven't seen it yet, wait till after they've seen it. Also, hopefully y'all have a wonderful Thanksgiving if you celebrate, or a wonderful day of getting together to eat more food. I don't know. So yeah,
Cool.
that is it for tonight. Uh, good night, y'all.
Bye.